BXB. It's in the game!
Playdead first came onto the scene with the amazing, unbelievably incomparable Limbo in July of 2010. This was an exclusive title on Xbox at the time, though now it's appeared on most platforms. Limbo for me was a stark, beautiful, foreboding game. It wasn't one that initially hooked me completely, but on subsequent playthroughs and when I got a chance to play it on Xbox One again, I could really see the beauty of this polarizing platform experience. So when Inside was announced and trailed and then announced at E3, I was very excited to see what they were going to do with their newest title. So this is my thoughts on Inside. I've never been so certain of a 5-star rating in a game as I have been with Inside. I knew after about an hour, maybe 2 hours of play, of this short play of the game that's only about 4 hours long, I knew it was a 5-star game. And then I finished the game, and if you could go higher than a 10 out of 10 or a 5 out of 5, I would have found a way. I talked about this game briefly on the podcast that went up about a week or so ago, and it's a difficult game to talk about without spoiling it. We spoke about the game at length at the end of the show in a full spoiler capacity, and if you have already finished the game, I do recommend going and checking that out, because we really dive into some of the sort of possible themes and twists and motivations behind this game. The footage I've captured here is from early on in the game. It does show a solution to one puzzle, so just to give you a heads up, but it's very, very early and very simplistic and way before anything really kicks off. The first thing you'll notice is the game is gorgeous. It has a hard to describe visual style. It's a 2D scrolling sort of platforming game that relies on physics-based puzzles. There are only 2 forms of control in this game. You can obviously move left and right on the screen, you can jump, and you can interact with objects. One of the wonderful things Playdead has done with this game is create a depth and interactivity with the foreground and the background in ways that I have never seen in a 2D platforming game before. It's absolutely mesmerizing, and it works wonderfully well. Now, like I said, the main pull of this game is its narrative. Even like I said, at 1 hour, 2 hours in, 5 stars. By the end of the third act, I was utterly blown away. This is one of the most powerful experiences I've ever had playing a video game. I was moved, shocked, disgusted, enthralled, and immediately driven to start a second playthrough. Interestingly, all the achievements inside are linked purely to the puzzles. There's these extra collectibles within the game, and the only way to get the gamer score of the 1000 gamer score is to actually find these hidden things. Now, it's worth doing, but because there is a hidden ending related to finding everything. And trust me, when you get to the end of this game, you will only be left with questions. As discussed at the end of the podcast with Richard, who also played this game to completion, we had some very different ideas as to the meaning behind the activities in this game. It's like I said at the start of this review, very difficult to talk about Inside because everything is linked so closely to the story. All I can say is it is the most well-written game that has no dialogue that I've ever experienced. It is the mechanics, everything you do in this game are conveyed purely by the situation you are in. You don't need to have anything explained. You don't need to have anything spelled out to you. You don't need to have anybody telling you it or tutorializing it. It is perfect. This game is so polished that it makes AAA games like Star Wars Battlefront, etc. look like they were made by amateurs. A game like this, it's been in development for 6 years, and every minute of that time is visible on the screen as you play it. There are not enough superlatives to describe how special this experience is. I would say if you don't own an Xbox, or you're not able to get like a decent PC to run it, not that you would need the most high-end PC, this is a reason to buy an Xbox One. This is the only reason you need to buy an Xbox One. And I'm talking about putting down like £200, £250 of a purchase here. It's that special of an experience. I was moved in ways I didn't realize games could do. It's stunning in every way imaginable. 5 stars.
BXB. It's in the game.